Hello, namaste. Thank you for joining me for this reading today. Um, I'm super excited and I want to thank you and all my subscribers. Overnight, there's been quite a jump in my numbers, and that just fuels the excitement to come here and be with you every day and to give me the confidence I need to deliver these messages. I have listened to so many readings in the past and followed different readers and psychics and people that are channeling the message of God and Jesus. But I never quite realized for myself the potential that being in this position can present for me. And the potential is most certainly not of my own making. I have been led by Spirit and God through a calling since 2013 and started reading this book, The Song of God, which is what I read to you daily. It's been impressed upon me because it's become such a significant tool for me to apply to my life, to have a more expansive relationship with God and Spirit. And this kind of brings me to my message today about who we are in spirit and as light beings in this heavy vessel. We as light beings automatically have this tendency to want to ascend and expand. I believe it is intrinsic to us that our light body needs this level of freedom to feel energized, stimulated, the desires and the passions that are pushing us forward to reach our purpose and potential. And if our intuition is right, we know what is right from wrong, and we are still making decisions, hopefully to align us with better decisions to help us ascend. But what happens with the physical heavy body when we're stuck in the matrix like we are, when we are pulled into circumstances and situations and environments and people who are not awakened or who carry low vibration, we are stunted. We have to accept that isolation is not the way. Isolating ourselves from people that will hurt us, from having real world life experiences, and for proverbially taking the bull by the horns, requires another set of belief systems. And so we're fighting in ourselves with these two separate belief systems. The one is trying to keep us stationary. It's delivering an illusory experience of reality that is conditioned, that is very much analytical, trying to find logic. One would say it's derived in the masculinity side of us and the right brain, and the patriarchies and the governments and the systems that have been put into place to keep us feeling unsafe, because it's not who we are at the core. We know in truth now, without us even being honest with ourselves and accepting that we are greater beings than what we were ever told. And if we're going to listen to the truth without acknowledging it, without knowing it within the deeper aspects of the self, the light body, the soul, the spirit, we're going to create this imbalance within ourselves. And 9 times out of 10, we're all depressed, we're all feeling stuck, because we're not we're not able to expand our inner light body into this conscious, heavy experience. So what happens when we shift, or rather detach to be able to see from this light body, is a dissonance. It's one of feeling very alone. And that's part of the reason why I wanted to create this platform, this channel. As much as what I've purged out that side of myself, I feel like there needs to be a representation, a feminine representation of God's source and spirit. Even if the words that I say don't resonate with you, even if you don't understand all the words that I'm reading to you on a daily basis, we need to acknowledge what is the feminine representation and why it has been so suppressed. Why do we keep repeating these cycles? And when I talk about these cycles, my own experiences have me repeating in relationships, doesn't matter with who, friends, lovers, work colleagues, where me taking the high road hasn't always had the best outcome. But it's pushed me along the path, knowing that I am sovereign, that I have integrity, and that I am at a point in my life where I can confidently say, I know the truth of who I am. I know that I'm realized in the eyes of God. And it is not always going to resonate with others. In fact, I've seen how entities can come into the lives of the people closest to us. In spiritual terms, I have been gang stalked. In spiritual terms, I have had destiny swapping experiences. In spiritual terms, if I come into a relationship, that relationship is not a karmic relationship because of who I am. I am sovereign. I create the boundaries. I create the set of rules and circumstances that I want to experience by speaking my truth from the get-go. Being vulnerable and open and honest from the get-go. Why have we removed ourselves so far away from that essence of truth? I would also like this to be open cards. Let me know if what I'm saying to you is resonating you by giving me a thumbs up. If you can find the stillness and the peace in the space around you while I'm talking to you, or when you're lying in your bed at any time of the day, because we always need rest. But before bedtime, sure. Sometimes not always first thing in the morning. We all have our different routines, but this is what we need to resonate in, to be able to attune ourselves to spirit. So when we're looking at examples of what is divine femininity, what is divine masculinity, there needs to be more openness, truth spoken, storytelling, acknowledgement between ourselves. So this platform is here to be able to do that. If you can have as much trust and faith in me as I do in you, because I have a calling to bring these messages to you. It won't always be fluid. I am human too. I had a difficult night sleeping, tossing and turning. Perhaps I'm missing the noise of India and the movement and, to some degree, the lack of privacy. Because I think maybe we're just wanting to take up too much privacy for ourselves. When I believe that us finding these connections and creating some kind of a unified vibrational frequency for expansion is of the utmost importance now. Yeah. As we move into this new earth frequency, we are all required to make better choices. And the biggest one for me was consumerism. As long as we remain stationary, we are tending to consume through all the portals. Just be mindful of what you're feeding. What you're feeding on. And in this case, what wants to be fed back to you. We are in the midst of global terror. Draw my mind to the last few readings that I've done on death and how quickly it can come without notice in any form, and then looking at the news about this poor family in Brazil that all went up in a hot air balloon and it caught on fire. Devastating. Right, let's read today's reading. The same multitude of beings being born again and again is dissolved helplessly, O Arjuna, at the coming of the night, and comes forth at the coming of the day. But verily there exists higher than the unmanifested another unmanifested eternal being, who is not destroyed when all beings are destroyed or dissolved. All this coming and going according to one school of thought, amply supported by the Bhagavatam, which contains highly colorful stories of such creation, takes place in the mind of God. The Hebrew word in the Genesis story of the Bible, which is usually translated in the beginning, also means in the head. Creation took place in God's head. The universe is an extensive and prolonged dream of God, even as during the course of our own dream, the dream objects are indeed real. The objects of this universe seem to be real to us, while the dream of the cosmic dreamer is still in progress. Wow. Otherwise, how is it that scientists have proved that the whole universe is nothing more than a perpetual movement of light waves, and that all objects of this universe are, in the ultimate analysis, nothing but energy? We persist in seeing a variety of objects. What sees what? I see this paper, when I and paper are both vibrations of energy. What makes I, and paper, paper? When thus we pursue all our sense perceptions, which together we call the manifest universe, we arrive at the ultimate unmanifested principle, the reality or the absolute. Here we stand at two opposite sides of a bridge. We are torn, trying to fight our way to the ultimate truth, the absolute within ourselves, is a minefield. And if you're fighting with these scars, tune in or reach out, connect. I don't believe we should be living with a tortured mind. I believe that there's enough space there for light to fill. Knowledge, truth, light. Attune to that. Receive it. There's more than enough to go around. You have no idea. There is so much energy at source, an infinite amount. We are survivors of the ages. That absolute is beyond the intellect and the senses. Yep. We just don't know how much bliss we can sink into whilst sitting still and calling on that waterfall from spirit. The unmanifested root matter, or mula prakti, which projects itself and withdraws such manifestation, is what Fred Hoyle calls the eternally self-creating root element of which the universe is composed. It keeps changing over the substratum of the absolute, which is unchanging. That is Brahman. That is the self. That thou art, cry out the Upanishad. That thou art is just a statement of yes. Behold the truth. So remember that the truth can also fester if you don't nourish it. The truth can cause all kinds of skin-crawling vibrations. If we don't dissolve the ego and allow ourselves to look at that truth. Thank you for being here with me today. If you enjoyed this reading, please share this with someone you think will resonate with it. And I'll see you again soon. Take care. Share some love. Bless others. The divine in me honors the divine in you. Namaste.